Hello, listeners. This is Colin from License to Watch. Sorry to interrupt the beginning of our lovely podcast, but I just want to talk to you today about our Patreon. Patreon.com/L2W. A place where you can find bonus movie shows by us, me, Harris McCabe, and Matt McGregor. More content, including conversations with us, our thoughts on many things. So if you're interested in that, please check out our Patreon
for just $1 a month.
Patreon.com, patreon.com/L2W. Check it out.
Despite Mission Impossible 3's total box office being lower than the previous movies, its critical reviews were far more favorable. Thus, plans for a fourth movie went into development immediately. J.J. Abrams, unable to return to the helm for this iteration, was replaced by popular Disney animation and Pixar director Brad Bird for what would be his first outing as the director of a live-action feature film. Work began on the screenplay in the summer of 2009, with writers Josh Applebaum and Andre Nemec, who at the time were most well known as being writers of the J.J. Abrams created show, Alias. Principal photography began in October of 2010 and went until March 2011. Later becoming a popular trend for this series, this movie was the first to utilize IMAX technology, shooting over 30 minutes of the movie on IMAX 70mm film. Tom Cruise is once again back to do all of his own stunts, which this time include him scaling the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa. Simon Pegg returns as Agent Benji Dunn in a much larger role this time around. Newcomers include Paula Patton as Agent Jane Carter, Jeremy Renner as Agent William Brandt, Anil Kapoor as Burj Nath, Tom Wilkinson as the IMF secretary, Leah Seydoux as Sabine Moreau, and the late Michael Nyqvist as the villainous Kurt Hendricks. This is the first and only film to omit Ving Rhames' character of Luther Stickell, who only appears in a brief cameo in the last scene of the film. Michelle Monaghan also appears in that scene in a cameo, playing Ethan Hunt's now ex-wife, Julia Mead. This film was a box office smash, raking in $694 million globally, and it was the fifth highest grossing film of 2011. It also became Tom Cruise's highest grossing film of his career, surpassing the previous record holder, War of the Worlds. It received generally favorable reviews by critics and is considered a return to form for the series. This is a show about franchises. Movie franchises. We're talking about the fourth entry in the Mission Impossible film series, 2011's Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. I'm Matt McGregor, and as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Harris McCabe and Colin Shaw. You're listening to License to Watch.
Why in the world was this movie made?
Do you guys mind if I do weed in here?
I won't even be able to tell.
Yeah, we can't see you, you stupid bastard.
Yeah, there's no way to know. I can't even see you.
Some people don't like the smell, so.
All right.
I got that loud Wiz Khalifa shit, you know?
Great. I'm trying to introduce the show now. Welcome to the show. This is License to Watch, and we're all here, and we're talking about Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, number 4. We are joined today by our special guest, Charlie Kaufman, writer, producer, dickhead. What's up, dude?
Hey, yo. Charlie is here in the house with Matthew McGregor and his friends. Very excited to be here. This is the highlight of my life.
Great. Thank you for being a part of this show.
It's my pleasure. You know, congratulations. I heard that your baby is turning into an actual person.
Mm-hmm,
so
yes.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Somehow it's happening. Charlie, what is your history with the Mission Impossible movies? How many of them have you seen? Do you like them generally? What's going on?
You know, first I just want to thank you for the question. That's a great question. And I just want to say thanks because that's a really great question. And
that's all.
And
that's all I have to say about Mission Impossible. I love the Mission Impossible movies. I'm actually a Tom Cruise fan. Like I am a Tom Cruise fan. Like, you know, I can find something good about The Mummy or whatever.
Wow, you're really a fan.
I can. I like him as an actor. I think that he's like a talented kind of, moment in time person. And I respect that, and I respect what he's done. And he always seems to get himself a producer credit. So, it's admirable to see somebody. And, not a lot of people do as many stunts as he does. And sure, he's getting older and breaking legs and stuff, but he's not, he's not afraid to back down. And I appreciate that from a production standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, so you're saying you appreciate that he does his own stunts and he gives 110% as far as I understand from watching behind the scenes and just hearing general stories about him, that he goes above and beyond for everything that he works on.
I mean, if you're including that additional 10% in the lifts that he has in his shoes so that he's as tall as Paula Patton, then yes, I would give him 110%. But he's definitely, listen, we don't come across actors like that very much anymore. And it's crazy to think that, like, it's, he's on the back end of his career.
We live in a world where The Rock and Vin Diesel have limitations on how many punches to the face their characters can receive in relation to each other. They have to have equal amount of punches. One can't have more than the other because they will then look like a bitch, according to them. So this is Tom Cruise doing real shit when The Rock and Vin Diesel and people like that would never, ever do any of the stuff that he does.
In fact, Tom Cruise insists he gets a minimum of 5 punches to the face in every movie, even the regular dramas.
Is that why his face is so fucked up?
His teeth are fucked up? Is that what you said?
No, his face. Every time, I was watching Magnolia the other day, and I was like, oh, his nose doesn't look as broken. It doesn't look like Owen Wilson's face. And now, I just watched him again and was paying extra attention. He's kind of got like a broken nose face.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, his face is actually in a constant state of flux. It's more like a liquid than a solid compared to other human beings. So it's constantly kind of,
it's amorphous,
gelling around. Yeah, it's
It's gelatinous.
Gelatin.
His face is made of jelly.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
That's why they call him Tom Jelly Cruise.
Yeah. Harris, you're awful quiet. There's a first.
I tried to say something earlier, but
cool. Thanks for that dead silence that you brought to the show. Harris will be playing the role of Colin today. Guys, Ghost Protocol 2011. Where does it stand? I hear an airplane flying overhead.
It's not me.
Mine.
God damn it.
You can edit that out, right?
Yeah, I guess.
It might be yours. It's your airplane.
Damn it.
Ever heard of post-production, Matt?
I'm in a Cessna right now.
Well, listen, I think it's I don't know if you have a technical plan of action for this, but I think it'd be interesting to talk a little bit about Brad Bird first before diving into what we think about the movie, because, it's totally a relevant subject here, and this movie, in my opinion, is completely different than anything he's ever done.
Than anything Brad Bird has ever done.
Yeah.
Well, up to this point, he had only done what? The Incredibles. And
he'd done The Iron Giant in 99.
The Iron Giant, Incredibles.
And then The Incredibles, Ratatouille.
Yep.
He actually was the animation coordinator on The Simpsons for the first 8 seasons and was a big part of what that show ended up looking like. And he also played a part on a lot of those other Pixar movies that he wasn't necessarily directing, but he was always sort of, they all consult on each other's stuff. But this is his first live action movie.
And then Tomorrowland is next, which was a total success.
It was his second live action movie and his last live action movie. Has not.
Yeah,
bounced.
this
that
movie, the physical world of this movie feels like it's animated, even though these are real people.
It does, and I noticed that a couple of times. Like one shot in particular, follows a water fountain as it's moving from left to right on the screen. And it feels like it would have been such a cool shot in an animated movie, but it just doesn't work, and it totally disrupts the pacing of the scene.
Yeah.
Right. The camera's moving a little too fast. It's not catching the water the way it could. He just didn't have the control, whereas in the opening titles, we follow the fuse that's been lit all the way through this long tunnel, and I actually
I
think
hated
that was
those
probably.
titles.
I think that probably was animated.
Oh,
and,
100%.
You know, and was very much in control and was like had his fingerprints all over it.
Yeah.
These titles, like, it's exactly what Matt hates. I'm surprised he didn't chime in on how much he hates them.
I do.
Why would you hate
them.
these titles? These titles are good. I like these titles. They finally
They
got back
suck.
to the first one where they're showing clips from the actual movie.
Which I hate.
No.
What's wrong with it? I think it's awesome. It's like a little preview. It's like, hey, you're going to see this cool thing and that cool thing, and you already saw this part, but then there's going to be this.
I also don't like my one big beef with this movie is that the CGI in a lot of places really didn't stand the test of time, and I think the main titles falls into that category for me. I felt like, first of all, they ran that wire like all throughout this jail prison, underground sewer kind of thing. I don't think so. I think it was.
I'm surprised you got
Are you
that.
questioning the authenticity of a Mission Impossible movie?
I'm surprised you got that
a little
far.
a little artistic license on the title sequence animation, Matt. Maybe.
I'm surprised you got that far. As soon as I realized, like, I didn't like what they were doing, and it was the scenes from the movie that I'm about to watch thing, I was like, this sucks. I'm not watching it. I'm waiting until the movie
then
starts.
your opinion on the title sequence doesn't count if you didn't
Right.
watch
If
it.
you haven't
Colin.
watched it in full, then you're taken out of the pool.
I wasn't
I
able
think
to
it's-
watch it in full.
I
and
think
my
it's
my
cool that
inability is what I'm commenting on.
Your inability to watch the movie that you were supposed to watch. I think what I liked about them is that they actually shot clearly they weren't using clips. They weren't just taking like outtakes from the movie. They shot specific moments from the movie in a specific way to make them look cool with this title sequence. And I think so. Here's my defense of this title sequence. I think they realized, because we all love the Bond opening sequences. And just title sequences in general, I think, are good. And honestly, most of these Mission Impossible ones have been short and kind of lame. They just play the theme song for a minute and then they move on. And I think this is them trying to step up their game and do something distinct. And they're like a James Bond opening title, except their own kind of brand of we're going to show preview clips of the movie, but it's going to be in this stylized way. And I think they did a good job with it.
Right, and that song has gotten so famous and so recognizable that you kind of want to jam with it, and you want to find, an adventure to go on with the song. So that's
Hell
I
yeah.
totally agree.
Having said that, I think that this rendition is the weakest of the themes that we've heard so far.
Yeah, it's
don't
almost
think they
like you
just
want to
copied
hear
and
that
pasted it?
theme done by a popular band, like a really popular band, like maybe
Smash Mouth.
Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit.
Bizkit.
Smash Mouth would be good.
Did you guys see this movie in the theater? And if you did you see it in IMAX?
Wow, Matt.
I am 100% certain I saw it in the theater, and I am also 100% certain that I never saw it in IMAX.
It was super dope in IMAX, and I'm sure you can even tell when they go to the 70 mil, or it might not even be 70, but it's a much higher resolution. For the Burj Khalifa scenes, the quality, I was watching it on FX Now, the quality of the shot alone is it's like a night and day clarity difference. And I do remember seeing that in a large format, and it was really cool, really cool. But the whole movie, I remember seeing this when I first saw it too. The whole movie's audio seems really weird to me. It seems like it's almost dubbed. Like the whole time, it seems like it's like a dubbed over movie.
Maybe the version you were watching was like off or something. I've seen that happen where it could be off by a frame or two on some streaming services.
The stream sync, yeah.
You know whose voice was really weird to me is the first guy, the guy who dies, who was the boyfriend of the other woman.
Oh yeah.
Just the way he talks, that sounds like it's dubbed, because no person would talk that way if they were just standing in public at all.
Are you
I
talking
feel.
about are you talking about Sawyer from Lost?
Yes, yeah, Sawyer from Lost.
I was gonna ask who that guy is, anyways, because I thought he had the weirdest. Because I was like, clearly this is like some kind of famous actor, and I had no idea who that famous actor was. But
It's
guess
the
not famous
same
enough.
J.J.
What has he been in
Abrams.
besides?
It's like, how J.J. Abrams put Kerry Russell in the last movie because she was in Felicity, a show he worked on, or a show he created, I should say. Now he's a producer on this movie, so he put this actor in. I forget his name, but Josh Holloway, I think that's his name.
Yeah, that's right.
He was a
What's
main
he been in
character.
besides Lost.
I don't know. Just a lot of TV. I don't know what he's
he
on
feels
now.
TV to me. Not to
Yeah.
be,
I want
mean.
to. I want to ask you guys something. Does he normally have really long hair? Because I couldn't help. Can you guys see this? I couldn't help but notice when she lays him down. Look at the back of his neck behind his
That looks
ears.
like a wig.
Well, the hair looks like a wig, but look at the neck. What is going on here with this
muscle
neck thing?
fibers. It's muscle fibers. He's ripped.
It's very bizarre, and the only thing I could think is that he might have really long hair, and this is part of like a skull cap that they had to put on to tape his hair down to his neck and hide it. Because this is not a normal human thing. If this is just his normal hairline in the back, that's bizarre.
He does
He
have
might be
long
some
hair
kind
a
of
lot of the
alien.
time, so that probably is what that is.
I also think
Okay.
maybe he has a little bit of a weird ear. It looked like his lobe was tucked into his head or something.
Let me just say, if Megan Fox can make it with those thumbs, he can make it with that neck.
What's wrong with her thumbs?
Wait, are we saying that he's making it? What has he been in besides Lost?
Dude, he's in a Mission
18
Impossible
seconds
movie.
And 18 seconds of Mission Impossible.
That's way more Mission Impossible than I've been in.
That is true. That is true.
So this was the summer of 2011? Do we know
No,
what month
it was December. December.
Oh, okay.
I know this because
Yeah,
I know this because if you saw it in theaters in IMAX, you were treated to the first 6 minutes of The Dark Knight Rises, which was coming out in like 6 or 7 months from then. So it was like the whole plane sequence where Bane hijacks the airplane.
Dope.
Yeah, it was really dope.
I did not see it in theaters.
I sought this movie out specifically in IMAX to see that.
Well, because you probably heard
He's
about that.
sought it
and
out specifically to watch a couple of minutes of a different movie.
Yes.
Yep.
But did you know going into it that the IMAX, like the IMAX camera, was used on the 143 stuff?
Yeah, I knew that it was a sequence in the movie, and they probably advertised it, because it's like it's the best part in the whole movie.
Yeah, that
Pretty
says
much.
something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This movie looked really good. I mean, it had like a good. It had really good sets. It had really great like location establishing shots.
The whole movie
and
was
it's-
blue in a cool way too, like color wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's Robert Elswit who did a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, including There Will Be Blood, and done all of George Clooney's movies. I think he's done all of the Gilroy brothers separate movies. So pretty experienced DP.
Is he a Coen Brothers DP too, or is that just what's his name? The other
I
guy?
don't know if he ever did. It would be sometime when Roger Deakins was like double booked or something.
Deakins,
I think.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I thought the color palette, like I think this movie came out during that time when like every movie was doing this color palette, like bright blues and orange, just kind of like really, colorful and again cartoonish.
Yeah.
I kind of miss.
Well, I think
Yeah, sorry. I kind of miss the old like realism of a muted color, not muted, but like a lesser degree color palette. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit desaturated.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it that. I just
Well,
would
I
call it
think-
not saturated, not overly saturated.
I think that a little bit of it is informed by the tone. And I was going to say, I think one of the things that Brad Bird brought to this, because we've talked about how in the past we've had directors that sort of bring their own flair to it, and this doesn't have as much of that. But I do think one of the things he brought is this is funnier than I think the other ones were. It's got a lot more jokes. It's got a lot more comic relief. It's definitely got that mentality of infusing the action with humor. And I think it's like sort of lighter in overall tone than, it's not like his wife isn't going to get killed. His team hasn't been massacred, blah, blah, blah. And God knows how melodramatic the John Woo one was. This one is kind of like, it's like fun. Everything's light. We're having a good time. And I think being colorful and being a little more, I think it's just sort of maybe a tonal decision that they've sort of maintained for the next couple.
Yeah, I think you're right about the fun tone to the point where like there is a villain in this movie, but he's so forgettable and so like he's barely on screen, Like
I'm a little confused by the villain, but I think we need to save talking about that like until later.
well, I think we could shift into that. I mean, we've kind of said
We
a
are
lot
talking about it now.
about
So
tone. Yeah.
no
Well,
time like the present, Colin.
Well, okay, so the villain, he's an academic, right? He's like a university professor type guy.
Yeah.
No, they throw in early on that they They throw in early in his bio. No, you're wrong. They actually say it in the movie. Early in his bio, they say he was part of the Swedish Special Forces and some blah 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 before he went back and got his degree in nuclear theory or whatever. So I'm not saying that it's like that we should buy that. I'm just saying that they do.
But don't they also
pay lip service?
Don't they
to the
also
fact that
say
he should be a badass combat guy?
They say something along the lines of like he teaches like nuclear theory or something like that for 20 years, and now he's taught it for so long that it's all he knows or something. Like
Yeah, they definitely say
well,
that.
no, they
Yeah.
say that he got fired for being crazy. He's the one who says that he's studied it for so long that now he just looks at people as disposable, game theory parts.
game theory.
but
Yeah,
I mean, they initially start off by saying that he was in the Swedish Special Forces, which I don't even know if Sweden has special forces or how badass that would be. But I'm just saying, if they're trying to justify him being able to hold his own in a fight with Tom Cruise, I guess they've done their due diligence in terms of plausibility there. I don't buy how he actually outruns. So twice in this movie, Hendricks, played by Michael Nyqvist, outruns Ethan Hunt, played by Tom Cruise.
Oh, dude, up
on
the
two separate
stairs.
occasions, which I don't buy either the actors or their characters, that being the outcome of a foot race between them at any point.
Haven't
Yeah,
you seen
when
Tom
I was
Cruise
watching,
run?
yeah, we've been
on.
talking about how weird Tom Cruise running is already, which is kind of weird.
like a super fast robot. I don't know. He seems like he's running really.
There it
good.
is. There it is. There it is. It's right behind you.
Yeah.
But like when he's chasing him on foot, I'm like, are they still fucking running? Like, he needs to catch him. Like, I know that Tom Cruise can outrun this guy any fucking day. Like, it's anybody
Go
could.
ahead. Go ahead. He could outrun this chubby Swede any day of the week.
Look. This whole, here's what I got to say. This whole Swedish Special Forces thing, I don't take no stock in that, Holmes.
when Tom Cruise is running, terrible joke. When
It took you so
I know,
long.
it's such a stretch too. I was looking for like a Swedish chef thing.
when Tom Cruise is running and the Kremlin is being destroyed behind him, he runs really weird because it's obviously him running in front of a green screen connected to
As
like
fast as you can.
but he's connected to something that like a rope that pulls him forward eventually. So he's running to make up for the room for that thing. It's probably dangling, but they green screen it out. They wipe it out.
Well, we're gonna see it any second.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
What else? You know what's funny is that later on, Tom Cruise, on the second time that he gets outrun by that chubby Swede, he hurdles a Mini Cooper, and it's really like it's sort of a throwaway gag.
Oh wait, here it is.
We're about to, yeah,
Here it
we're
is.
about to
Just
see
watch
him
how
right
he
here.
runs. His legs
oh my God,
are
I'm
really
so
weird.
ready for him.
The CGI in this Kremlin scene looks terrible. Oh, here's the run.
Yeah,
Shut
he's
up,
sort of
Matt.
chest forward.
Chest forward, yeah.
Chest forward.
Oh,
But
Yeah.
yeah, but that's different because his usual run is really overly upright in the upper body, so that his shoulders
Very
are almost
upright,
like
but very
behind his ass.
arm-oriented, which I swear to God, I think the secret to looking fast when you're running in a movie, because Mel Gibson does this too, is just like the blade hands, just up and down,
Yeah,
up and down, pumping.
Yeah, but that doesn't
that's
actually
an
make you
overrun.
faster. That slows you down.
No,
like,
it
in terms of
doesn't
technique.
make you faster, but it makes you look faster in a movie.
But
Right.
it doesn't. Not to me.
But to get back to when he hurdles the Mini Cooper, I was so impressed by how good that looked that I was like, wait, can Tom Cruise actually jump over a Mini Cooper? Did he walk up a stepladder beforehand and I missed it? And I had to, I slow motioned it, and it's definitely wire work. You can definitely see, like, I don't even know if his foot touches the ground on his takeoff leap, but they do it really well. Some of the stuff in this movie is smooth.
What's the Swede's name again? Mickelson? Mickelson?
Michael Nyqvist. Oh, the character's name?
He's the second villain for a
Hendricks.
Mission Impossible movie.
Hendricks. Okay.
Hendricks,
well,
yeah.
Was anybody else thinking the whole time that this guy is just like a discount Skarsgård?
Yeah,
Like,
basically.
he's throwing
that's-
like some Skarsgård vibes to me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
This guy is known
Yes.
for the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo Swedish version movies. He's the detective.
Yes, he was, and I think this is entirely on the strength of that, which was a couple years earlier. He was the only other thing you'd know him for is he was also the main heavy at the end of John Wick, the first and best John Wick.
That's right. He's
Uh,
dead.
did-
He passed away.
And he was,
My
And
Zoom
he was-
froze.
it-
Did anyone hear what I was saying, or what happened?
Oh God, I'm sure it was.
I heard the
not
part about
something we need to
fart.
repeat. But go ahead. Was it a pun?
This guy, he's like discount Skarsgård.
I heard that.
Yes, we
all
heard all that.
We
Oh,
heard
okay.
all of that.
Okay. It froze right after I said that.
Yeah, it froze right after you said that, and then you didn't get a chance to talk, and we all discussed what you had said.
Oh, I wish I had heard what you guys said.
Wait, did everyone hear my bad joke?
It wasn't even a bad joke.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, he is a Scandinavian guy who looks a little like Skarsgård.
Yeah.
But
Oh, did anybody
yeah,
notice
he's
the?
not-
He
he's
felt
different
so
guy.
throwaway to me though. Like I didn't care. Like I really didn't.
Yeah.
I think
he's
that's
got,
part
like-
of what
he's
they're
got
going
8
for.
lines in the whole movie.
Yeah,
I
exactly. He's like, it's similar to the Rabbit's Foot in the last movie, where it's like he's
Right.
a villain. He's impending doom. They have to stop him, but ultimately, like this movie is not about him or who he is. It's just.
But after getting such a good villain in that last movie, it is kind of a letdown to have this guy kind of be this just ominous bad guy that, I mean, they build him up as much as they can, but he doesn't have a lot of personality, which is
But
a
I
little
kind
bit
of felt like that with Ethan in this one too. Like I didn't like, there's usually a moment where I'm invested, but I didn't feel like there was any moment early on where I was like, I mean, except for watching him with his shirt off right now, but like where I'm just like I care about this guy and I want to see him be successful, and I care more about Simon Pegg.
I feel like I that was one of my notes too, was that this is a movie for a lot of supporting characters to get like big backstories and everything, which was a little bit frustrating. I feel like they did. I was so glad when Brandt's backstory. I remember being so happy when Brandt's haunted, tortured backstory had to do with Ethan Hunt, because I was like, if this is just another backstory of some other character that I don't give a shit about that I'm meeting for the first time, please just stop. Because it was bad enough watching Paula Patton like sweat over her dead lover and have a crisis of confidence, and then Brandt is worried about his own crisis of confidence, and it's like, oh my god, just too much.
Oh, so you're not a Jeremy Renner fan? I didn't
No,
know.
I actually really liked him. I really liked him in this. I thought he was really good at this. But
Okay.
But I didn't want it to have like additional character backs. It's like, wow, Benji's first time out in the field, and Jane needs revenge, and Brandt feels guilty about some shit, and it's like, okay, I know all these characters have to have arcs, but they're only half fleshed out. And they're kind of poor substitutes for.
Yeah, I thought the Jane woman, she's like really, really good looking, and I just do not
Yes.
think she's a very good actress. Like I think she'd be like a really great actress for like a TV procedural, but like in this movie, it's not working for me. And,
What else has Paula Patton ever even been in besides Robin Thicke's Head?
That's it.
Like seriously, I do not. I couldn't name you a single thing that she's done, TV or movies, and she's not that. I mean, she's bad, but she's not that bad. You think this
That's
is
what I'm
high
saying.
enough
I could
profile
see
that-
her doing TV, but like it's
Yes.
not. Yeah.
Is she, we should check. Is she on
She
a TV
really
show?
is
She probably is.
super babe in this movie though.
The only
Did
thing.
anybody notice? Hold on. Did anybody notice the Bobby Moynihan clone in the first scene?
What?
The first guy they
No.
let out of the jail cell. He looks exactly like Bobby Moynihan.
Are you out of your goddamn mind? Like a giant Bobby Moynihan, like Bobby Moynihan on steroids, maybe?
The whole time I was like, "Oh my god, it's Bobby Moynihan! I can't believe he's in
Only,
this."
only 6'4" and with a tiny head.
It looks a lot like him. Just go back and look.
You are on crack. You're wrong.
It's basically the same guy. It's probably he just made up a different name for the credits for this because he's a comedy guy.
Oh
He
no,
didn't
you
wanna
know what?
be
I actually just looked it
overcredited.
up on Wikipedia. No, I actually just looked it up on the Wikipedia. That guy is actually billed as giant Russian Bobby Moynihan.
He does. He looks like Moynihan. I promise.
So we started talking about Brandt. Why don't we get into his character and the actor? What's his name again? Jeremy Renner. Yeah.
Jeremy Renner, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously they were grooming him to be Tom Cruise's replacement.
See, this is what the rumor was at the time. Do you still believe that?
That was the truth. They wanted, not in this movie for Tom. It was in case Tom Cruise didn't want to come back for another one, that they would then
okay.
shift
That
it.
makes more sense.
Yeah.
I'd rather somebody new, if that's the case, just like out of nowhere, somebody new.
Yeah.
Well,
I
what
mean,
they-
this was a time when.
Yeah, they would have just like had the next movie be about Brandt, and they would have been like, "Where's Ethan?" And then they'd be like, "Oh, he's off on another mission, or he retired."
Similar
or
to what
whatever.
they did when they transferred the Bourne identity to Jeremy Renner, and that went well. So
Yeah.
they had this whole
Well-
this was the height of Jeremy Renner's appeal, though, because he'd been in the Hurt Locker, broken out with that. He was in the town. Everyone was raving about that. He had a little part in Thor. People couldn't wait to see him in the Avengers. And then he was like barely in the Avengers, and everyone was complaining, "Oh, he's not in the Avengers enough. He's not in the Avengers enough." And like there was still some mystique about him. And then it was like the more we saw him, the more we were like, okay, this guy's fine, but he's definitely not a movie star who's going to carry something on his own. But nobody knew that when this movie came out. People were like, this guy is the next big thing.
I thought he was doing a terrible job on camera up until Tom Cruise found him out. Like, I didn't buy. Maybe I just didn't buy him as like a fake agent.
Was it him
time.
or the character? Because I think this is like one of the biggest flaws of this movie is how poorly written and all over the place this character is.
That's a very valid point, and I think not being able to decipher which one I'm talking about is also equally relevant. Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I feel like he's just being Jeremy Renner. you know?
he's just, and I don't buy him as like I'm just here to help.
I'm
Like-
such a spaz. I don't know what I'm doing, you know. And then they have
Right.
that one weird scene when he and Tom Cruise escape from the car, and they're going to meet the train. And he's like, "What was your strategy there? What was your thinking?" And it's like, "Oh, this guy's whole gag is that he overthinks everything." But then they totally drop that, and that is not his whole gag at all at any other point in the movie. And I don't know. It was just like they had all these. It was like this thing went through so many rewrites that character totally disappeared.
The scene where it falls apart for me is the magnetic suit thing. It's just so gimmicky and like unnecessary and like convoluted. I'm just like, okay, he's in a magnetic suit, and we're supposed to be laughing at like how.
Well, they
Well,
did.
you know
is
they're
happening
gonna
or whatever.
homage to the first Mission Impossible every single time.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
to. They're obligated financially.
But they did the classic mistake of having their best action sequence come in the middle, like the second act, when it should have been like the Burj Khalifa thing should have been. That should have been
end.
the final sequence, yeah, and then the
Right.
bad guy should have fallen off the building or something.
Yeah, but they always kind of do like the middle of the movie is for like the big eye popping stunt sequence. That's how all these always work, and all you can hope is that the actual finale of the movie will be good and not like Mission Impossible 3 where, you know, it just goes on forever and it's kind of boring. This one I think has a great finale. Like, I love the fight in the carport. I think that's great. I think it's brilliant. It's kind of a platformer boss level, but you know, it is like really fun and well done and creative.
Do you think
Nah,
carports
It was
like
really
that
well
exist?
done, except I just kept thinking about the fact that this guy's a college professor and like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but clearly there's more to him than that.
Do you think
guess,
carports
yeah,
like
he's-
that really exist?
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
especially
They
in
built that
Mumbai.
one for the movie, but you know, I assume that something similar to that exists someplace.
Because it's
Well,
pretty.
you know how
pretty
long
cool.
these movies take to develop. Somebody was like, "Oh, I heard they're gonna build carports everywhere, and I think we should maybe write a final battle scene that takes place in one of the automated ones."
This scene that's
It was
on
good.
right
It was
now, I
fun.
thought was really good with this actor Tom Wilkinson. Is that his name?
Tom Wilkinson from In the Bedroom, which every time Tom Wilkinson comes up, or what's his name, William Maypother, or any other actors, Sissy Spacek. Anytime any other names come up, I always want to mention In the Bedroom. Great movie.
Wait, are you
Tom
talking
Wilkinson,
about Carmine Falcone?
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
gonna bring that up.
That's right.
I hate his like Brooklyn accent that he does in Batman Begins. It's not good.
Oh, I love it.
He kind of pulls off the American accent here.
And he gets shot in the head right here. Amazing.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I gotta get up for 1 second and just my cat is playing with a bottle cap and it's making a lot of noise.
Oh, is that
Oh,
that
no.
jingling I keep hearing?
Yeah, that is the jingling.
I was ready to blame Charlie for that too.
Well, you know, I've got a lot of jingles on my chair's legs.
Yeah, so are we gonna leave in the chair fetish stuff about fucking chairs, or I'm hoping so.
It's been a long quarantine, boys.
Edit out the Timothy Dolphin stuff and just leave the chair fucking in. I think that's our cold open. Leave the chair fucking or none of this will make sense.
Speaking of chair fucking, the technology, like the tools that they, like some of the tools that they use were pretty cool in this one, don't you think?
Yeah, they were.
Gadgets. We haven't talked
Yeah.
about gadgets in many of these movies, but we should do like a Q branch segment here and talk about some of these gadgets.
Yeah, let's
Dude,
go for
I
it.
thought
This
Like-
movie like upset me with the gadgets. It's just they
well,
really
because it
came
feels
with
so
it.
dated.
Well, and there's just too much. It's like every scene has a gadget in it. And then there's the fact that like we get to scenes where they've got like the coolest newest gadget and they break for no reason. Like are they getting them from fucking wish.com or Overstocked or some shit? What the fuck is this?
No, fucking Simon Pegg's making them with little Tinkerbell stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about this and I think it's funny that like the confidence with which they use some of these gadgets, like the little inflatable mattress grenade that the guy from Lost uses at the beginning. Like, there's no margin for error there. If that doesn't work, he looks like a real idiot when he's splattered across the.
Yeah, he gets liquefied.
Dude, what about the optical tracing projector, like the ultimate gadget in this movie, in my opinion?
I thought that was pretty dope, and I bet there's like something like that in real life. Like I know that's like how they're pioneering like camouflage stuff is all like cameras and projectors and stuff like that.
I saw one of those in what's that? It's also a book. Oh yeah, Harry Potter.
Yeah, I think they're working on that. The Wizard Academy has got their people working around the clock to develop those things.
But like,
I
do you
think that
when they,
was one of the
when they
cooler
make
ones.
these gadgets, like, do you think that goes into story development, and how much of a role do you think that plays? Like, sitting there in the writing room, like, okay, let's come up with the gadgets, and then we'll come up with like a scene around them, or like how does that even work?
I think that's a good transition to talking about the writing of this movie, which is kind of amazing, like all the other ones. So they had the two writers were Josh Applebaum and Andre Nemec. Those are the two credited writers in this movies. This is their first feature after a lot of TV work, including Alias. Surprise, surprise. I wonder how they got the job. Now, apparently, by the time they started shooting, they had gone through several drafts of the script, which nobody liked any of them. And
So this one
then,
must have been really good.
Well, they started shooting without a finished draft, and they had shot about half the movie when they hired Christopher McQuarrie, who wrote The Usual Suspects, wrote and directed The Way of the Gun. I think he was trying to get another job to write and direct something, but he was getting turned down by everyone because The Way of the Gun wasn't successful, and he was insisting on directing everything. And then he wrote Project Valkyrie, and he was saying, "I got to direct it. I won't let anybody else have it. I have to direct it." And somebody came to him, his manager, somebody came to him and said, "Hey, listen, Bryan Singer wants to direct this. Get your name on the board. Go to set every day. Do it this way. And, once people see that you're willing to play ball, you'll get a chance to direct the next one." And he reluctantly did that. And he met Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise fucking loved him. So when this movie was in trouble, they had shot almost half the movie, and they still didn't have a script that anybody liked, and it was too complicated, and everyone fucking hated it. Tom Cruise said, "Hey, I know this guy. He's really great at script rewrites." They bring McQuarrie in, and they say, "Hey, here's the stuff we've shot. Here's the stuff you can't change. Here's the stuff we can't reshoot. Make this make sense." And apparently that was his job, was like connecting all the pieces from then on. And he was like every day on the set rewriting scenes as they were shooting them so they would make sense for later. So this thing was like, you talk about like what they planned out in the room. They planned out the stunts and the big action sequences and where they wanted to shoot it. And then they kind of piece it together, piecemeal after the fact, which is how they did Mission Impossible 3 kind of too. So it's been their strategy.
Which to me means like a bunch of the ideas for the gadgets came before the ideas for why and how they were.
In every Mission Impossible movie, I think stunts and locations inform the screenplay more than anything else.
Why do you think they chose to have Ving Rhames sit this one out?
I don't know. It might just be a scheduling thing. You think?
Could
I
be.
think sometimes it's that simple.
Is it? It's. I don't think it's pivotal with any part of the movie.
I miss him, guys.
Yeah,
I miss him.
You got your little cameo at the end there.
Yeah. I mean, that
He showed
shows
up.
that they at least asked him to be a part of it. So, yeah, maybe
Yeah,
it was a scheduling thing.
They still got love for Ving. Hey, we're quite a bit into our episode here. Are we gonna have Colin do his summary?
Yeah, I guess we should.
I feel like the people need to know what this movie's about.
I guess they do.
I cannot wait for this part.
All right, are you ready, Colin?
Me?
How long does
Yeah.
My Zoom froze. I have no idea what we've been saying for like
We've just
45
dropped you into
seconds.
summary.
Okay.
You got a hot 2 minutes for us?
Oh, jeez. I hope I'm ready. I don't think I'm ready for this one, but obviously it's time.
I think it'll come back to you. All
Okay.
right,
Too
ready?
I'm gonna be like Ethan Hunt. Jump, jump, jump.
Don't.
Stupidest part. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Okay.
It was stupid. Why did he have to jump right then? I don't know.
I hate that whole scene. Like the weird Indian guy, the actress is doing the worst acting she does in the whole movie, and he's just in the party talking to himself. Come on.
Yeah, and he's
I
always
hate
got
all
his
of that.
hand up on his ear like this too.
Yeah.
As Daniel Craig would say, stop touching your bloody ear.
Stop touching
Right.
it. Yeah. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so we start out at a Russian prison, and Tom Cruise and Bobby Moynihan and some other guy break out. And it turns out that Simon Pegg and the team of IMF agents was helping the whole time to get him out of there. And they're like, look, we got to catch this guy because there's a guy named Cobalt, and he's, going to, do bad stuff. So they go to the Kremlin, and they try to, look at Cobalt's files before he gets there, but he's already been there, and he blows them up, and Tom Cruise barely gets away. So Tom Cruise is Ethan Hunt. He gets away from the hospital when the Russians are chasing him, and he realizes he's got to, head these guys off at the pass. And they go to the Burj Khalifa building, the tallest building in the world. And they're like, we got to intercept the meeting between the assassin woman who killed the former agent that we saw in the beginning and, the crazy nuclear scientist guy's people. And so the nuclear scientist guys, they're trying to buy these launch codes for the nukes, and they got diamonds. And the IMF team is trying to run a whole switcheroo where they're meeting with both sides. That all goes to hell, and then fucking the guy gets away, and they gotta chase him. And then they chase him to India, where he's trying to make the nuke go. And they, do a little charade at this party where they try to, steal the satellite or whatever, and it's stupid. And then they chase, and then they chase the guy again because he beat them again. And they chase him to where he, uplinked with the satellite, and Tom Cruise just faces off with him one-on-one in a big parking garage where they beat the shit out of each other. And Simon Pegg hooks the thing back up to the computers, and then right before the nuke hits San Francisco, it just becomes a dud, and the nuke bounces off the big, tall San Francisco building. And then in the end, everything's fine, and Ving Rhames finally fucking shows up, and it turns out Tom Cruise's wife was fine the whole time.
That's great. 2 minutes.
Nice job.
Solid.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
That was
There's a
very
cat.
Oh yeah.
Got a cat.
Well. Have you guys ever seen the movie Cliffhanger?
Good. And love
A
the
long
movie
time ago.
Cliffhanger? Yes.
I feel like Cliffhanger is a perfect example of a movie that peaks too early. They've got, the opening scene where the dude is dangling, or the woman's dangling from the rope, and then she falls. And then they also have the plane hijacking scene that was a real stunt that was amazing. And then the rest of the movie is just I don't know, kind of peters out, And then you've got the end sequence, but it's not that cool. This
Let
movie,
me agree with you and then also disagree with you in that yes, the best scene of the movie is the opening scene. You could see the opening scene of Cliffhanger and then just tell people you watched Cliffhanger, and you would remember just as much as all of them did. However, there's no John Lithgow in the opening scene. And then he pretty much hams it up and chooses scenery. There are 2 movies where John Lithgow plays a bad guy and absolutely carries it. It's that and Ricochet with Denzel Washington, where just absurdly John Lithgow is the cheesiest, weirdest bad guy ever and totally
I've
nails
never
it.
seen that. What's that about?
Ricochet?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Ricochet is Denzel Washington, and Ice-T plays his childhood buddy, and Denzel is a cop who he becomes a cop. And his buddy becomes a gangster. His buddy Ice-T becomes a gangster. And I think his name's Odessa. I can't remember. And he calls him PK for Preacher's Kid because he was the good kid in the neighborhood. And then he thwarts, I think he thwarts John Lithgow's evil plan by shooting him. He's in his underwear somehow, and as a cop, he shoots him with like this behind-the-back trick shot, and because of that, he becomes the DA, and then later John Lithgow busts out of prison and tries to like seek revenge. Now, this is a movie that I saw when I was like 14 or something, and I haven't seen it since then, so I'm describing this all based on something that's like memories that are like 20-something years old, but I'm pretty sure I nailed it.
Have you ever seen the movie Raising Cain?
Oh, yeah, it's a Brian De Palma movie. Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah, but Lithgow's in that too, right?
I saw Citizen Kane.
Well, Raising Cain and Citizen Kane are basically the two staples of American filmmaking that everyone must watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the bad guy in that. He's also the bad guy in Blowout with John Travolta. So John Lithgow is the bad guy in two of Brian De Palma's best movies.
I think he was the bad guy in Third Rock from the Sun too, right?
The bad guy was people.
Do you get
in
the
Third
title
Rock
of
from
that, Matt? Do you
What's
get
that?
the title because it's Earth.
Wait, what'd you say?
It's Earth. It's about Earth.
Oh yeah, it is about Earth. It's subtle.
That's like a twist ending for me of like it's like a Planet of the Apes style. It was Earth all along.
Wait, but speaking of peaking too early, is it worse or better than Spectrum?
Spectrum, like the
Or Spectre,
cable
Spectre.
service.
No,
I'm like Spectrum.
Spectre.
Spectre's excellent all the way through. Next question.
I'm not sure. I don't know if Spectre had a peak. I think it pretty much flatlined at the bottom.
God
somewhere.
damn
Well,
it.
dude, no, the helicopter sequence in the beginning is pretty awesome.
Oh, I see what you're getting at. Yeah, kind of similar. Yeah,
But going
Maybe
back
it's because
to
Matt and I had to watch it 630 times.
yeah, we did.
But going back to the word Kane, I think maybe we should go to a party and I'll dress as the Undertaker,
Oh, no.
and Harris will be Kane. And would you be willing to be Paul Bearer, Matt?
Me? only if Charlie is Doink the clown.
This
All right,
is
we're settled
such
then.
A strained digression.
Dude, actually, I have my
I can't
clown
even
costume.
believe-
I just got it dry cleaned.
Why did it need dry cleaning? Do we need to know about the clown stains?
Have you ever been to a kid's birthday party?
I can only
thank God.
imagine.
It was a kid's birthday party.
Harris goes all the time.
Yeah, there's like yeah. You're right. It is tough to get all that blood off of the clowns.
Oh.
Oh man.
Anyways, what movie is this again?
Hey, we haven't even talked about Dr. Madeline Swan at all in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she's great. She's really a good part of this movie.
I like her
She's
better
amazing.
in this movie than I do in Spectre.
She got a little more to do, although less screen time, obviously.
Yeah.
She's hot as hell.
She's hot
Oh,
and she's
so
like
much.
she's got a good villain face and
Yeah, she's pretty consistently attractive in everything she does. Probably
She
in real
makes
life
me-
too, I would imagine.
She makes me want to buy a jet ski because her last name sounds like Sea-Doo.
She makes my pants feel tight, and
She makes me wet.
she makes my butthole wet.
Yeah, getting wet, getting the butthole wet, getting aroused, wanting to buy a
Buying a
jet
Sea-Doo.
ski. It's all the
Nobody
same
said
feeling.
anything about anal moistness.
I said it makes my butthole wet. She makes my butthole wet.
so she had before this. This was actually before she kind of broke out. She had a small role in *Inglourious Bastards* and *Robin Hood* and *Midnight in Paris*, and then
Robin Hood.
the one with Russell Crowe.
Oh, amazing film.
Yeah,
Is it?
was it though?
No, no.
Wait, Charlie,
and
are
then
you,
she
are
was
you
in-
thinking of the one with Jamie Foxx?
Oh, that one.
That's
Dude,
the
how many-
second
Fox
time
movies
we've talked
attempts
about
are
that.
they going to make to rebrand this, and when are they going to get it right?
I read that there's a movie coming out that's basically Robin Hood in space.
Ooh, you know what they need?
So-
Me as Robin Hood, Harris as Kane.
I mean, the reason they're never going to get Robin Hood right is because they already got it right twice. Once with Foxes and once with Kevin Costner, and you just can't get it right a third time.
Yeah.
What about
asking
like
too
if they
much.
did if they did like if I would do like a Star Fox kind of movie.
I would do
that'd be
Kevin
pretty dope.
Costner playing a fox in a Robin Hood sequel.
Does he speak with a British
Kevin
accent?
Costner as Fox Robin Hood.
No, he speaks with a Bostonian or like a Philadelphia accent, kind of like a raccoon.
Kevin Costner can only do an Indiana accent, guys. Everyone knows this.
Kevin Costner doesn't have to act to look like a fox.
He is kind of foxy.
Sorry. Yeah, I guess so. Right?
Have we talked about everything in this movie? What do you guys think of the score?
No, not really. We haven't really talked about the Burj Khalifa stuff. Like that whole sequence.
That whole sequence is amazing. It's like the best part
Which
of the
we
whole
said
movie.
was the best part of the movie, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Was anyone else just like constantly getting pissed off the whole time because Ving Rhames just like wasn't showing up?
Yeah, I already said that I was very pissed off the whole
Well,
time.
just was your Zoom frozen, Colin? We already talked about this.
I kept
was
imagining every
Stop going
situation they were
backwards.
in, and I was like, what would Ving Rhames do? Guys, just get your shit together. What would Ving do? And, there were a lot of times with Simon Pegg where he's like, if I could access this, then it would be so much easier. And I kept thinking, if my boy Ving was here, he would be hacking into that shit.
Literally every
also-
time we met any character or went to any new location, I was like, oh, this has got to be it. Ving's showing up.
Yeah, when he's like, I know some people down in this fish market or whatever. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, you thought Ving Rhames was going to be there throwing fish around. Like, hey, just working my day job, waiting for the call. But also, I feel like Simon Pegg, he's definitely comic relief. That was his whole role in this and every Mission Impossible movie. But I do feel like he's not very competent just in general as a spy. He's always fucking things up. He's always sort of like his whole shtick of like being nervous about stuff and then goofing it up and messing, like Ving Rhames had a certain amount of competence to him that if you said, hey, Ving, I got to go in the other room and cool off for no reason, hold this killer assassin at gunpoint, he wouldn't do something stupid like, be alarmed that the hostage nuclear code expert has been murdered and look down at his walkie-talkie and allow the assassin to escape.
Yeah, basically
he just
through this whole movie, I just kept thinking garbage because I'm only happy when it rains, baby.
Oh my God.
So bad.
That one was actually pretty clever. I'll give you that.
I stole it.
It's the
I
length
stole it.
he
My
has to go
roommate
to
said
to
it, and I
set
was like,
up.
I'm using that.
Oh God.
I
Wow.
stole it. I'm sorry. I had to say it.
Holy shit.
The Burj Khalifa is a cool building.
It's the coolest. It's the best part of the movie, for sure.
I remember when I first found out that the big action sequence in this movie was going to be involving that building. I remember being initially disappointed because they had their last big action sequence in MI3 was around a building, and like him, hanging from it and swinging and whatever. And so I was like, really? They're just going for like building stuff again, But then I was like really impressed with this movie, and it kind of it just like makes the MI3 sequence pale in comparison. It's like nothing.
Well, part of it is because the building is like insanely big. Like when you see pictures of it in the skyline, like next to the buildings that it's close to, there is no building within like a couple of miles of it that's even a 15th of the size of
Now
this thing.
let's just quick question here. Do sandstorms happen like that? Like, is that a thing or no?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up because I actually have seen and been in a sandstorm that was exactly like that. So I was in Israel and I
Really?
was yeah. I was yeah. I know that could be a joke, but it's not. I was visiting Masada in Israel, and it's this big. Masada is this like it's like a plateau that they built a fort into in like biblical times or some shit.
Mass
And it's
suicide, right?
Yeah, exactly. They were surrounded, and so they had this. They were under siege, and this is like a huge fort, and you can go in it and climb up to the top and stand on this plateau and look out, and it like is right near the Dead Sea.
That
and
needs
you
a
can-
movie, dude. The Masada story needs a movie.
That would be a cool ass movie. Especially because like the people that had them under siege, their way of getting in was to just build a giant staircase, which like it's really tall. So they were just building a staircase over a long period of time, like months at a
Romans,
time.
right?
They were just like, yeah, we can wait. Yeah, the fucking Romans, man. So anyways, we're up there on the plateau, and we start looking out at the horizon, and it's been this crystal clear, beautiful day, and then we see a wall of sand approaching. And it's like really far in the distance, and we're like, okay, we better get going. And by the time we got down into our car, it was like right on us, and we're driving on the highway trying to outrun this thing like an action movie. and it just overtook us, and basically every car on the highway had to pull off because it was absolutely like zero visibility, which is the one unrealistic thing about that sandstorm, is that the cars on the highway are still driving like 40 miles an hour or something, where in reality you kind of just have to stop.
When you were running away from it, Harris, did you notice that the Swedish professor next to you was like gunning it past you?
He was outpacing me by a ton. He was so much, and I was like, "How is this chubby dude getting fit? Like, he's clearly a smoker."
But
and
he'll
he is
outrun
just
you
so
on the
quick.
stairs.
I thought the funniest part of that entire thing was at the end of the run when he jumps on the truck and he takes off his mask and he throws down his mask and he gives this badass look. I was just like, what if that truck stopped? What if that truck was only going like about 10 feet and then it stopped and he was like gives this look like, fuck you, I won. And then it's like, oh shit, they're unloading here. Yeah, okay.
Oh, they're stopping. They're stopping because they realized that a stranger just hopped onto the back of it.
Yeah, exactly. But nobody in any movie has ever realized that a stranger hopped on. Someday I'm going to make a movie and somebody's going to jump on a car to get away and the person's going to stop and be like, get off my fucking truck.
Yeah, that was at the point where I was most upset that this guy kind of looked like Skarsgård, but was not Skarsgård. Also, one of my few notes that I took is, if they aren't going to play Sandstorm the song, then what the fuck are we doing here?
That's so funny.
All right, so let's talk about the end sequence. It's everyone's favorite part. We got that.
No, it's not. My favorite part is the Burj Khalifa.
The end sequence with Anil Kapoor in India.
Yes.
Oh, he's awesome.
The entire time, I just kept on wanting him to say, "It's time to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire."
Yeah.
He did that so many times. A millionaire.
I was really proud of myself for recognizing him as the millionaire guy from Slumdog. Also,
Amazing.
You know
movie.
what you didn't recognize him as? He is also he after this movie came out, he starred for like 4 seasons in the Indian version of 24, the TV show, which means that he is basically the Kiefer Sutherland of India.
probably better.
Their version is called 26 because their days are actually longer there. I don't know if you knew that about India.
Well, yeah, because you're just having diarrhea the whole time.
That's why they need those extra 2 hours.
That changes the concept of time.
It does, because you have to spend so much time in the bathroom that you get 2 hours back in your day.
It's like how Arizona doesn't buy into daylight savings time. It's India needs 2 extra hours for all the shitting.
It's actually because they have 26-hour shifts at the call centers, so they just change it over. So that's how they give you your iPhone advice when you're calling in.
Speaking of iPhones, like, it really wasn't that long ago, and when they show the iPhones in this movie, they look like 750 years old.
They show the iPhones a lot. They really showcase that they were using
all
iPhone
Apple
technology.
products. They use an iPad in this one.
Oh, yeah, for the turnaround camera.
Yep.
That you definitely can't see when you put a camera out into the hallway.
Every single car everywhere is a BMW.
Yeah, and when she's using that camera when they're at the Kremlin, and it says Canon on the side of it really big, and they just it's like the main part of the shot. It just
Dell.
says Canon.
When he looks at the servers, it says Dell. Like there's a lot of product placement in this movie.
Oh, so much.
Well, it's gadgets.
Yeah, it is gadgets.
Mm-hmm. It's
all right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so let's get to the what Matt was trying to get us to, which is the finale, where they start off at this weird in this like great Indian party, which has a server farm somewhere on the premises that was designed by, I don't know, a video game programmer or something. I don't know, like where they got this magnet Land Rover thing.
Because of that giant spiral killer turbine.
Yes, and then the obstacle course where the rover can go through underground through these little tunnels, and he's got to float through the mechanisms up above.
Oh,
that was so stupid. Yeah,
it was stupid.
Fuck.
It is awful. It is awful, and he's wearing the chainmail suit too, which just makes the whole thing worse.
But it's got mermaid scales on it.
And why are we going back to, after we've established that he's a badass field agent, why are we going back to him being like this nebbishy, like, oh, I shouldn't be out here, I don't really want to jump, I'm not sure what's going on thing.
Yeah,
Having
you're right.
to do light stretching first.
It's like, we already had the reveal, guys. Did you shoot this out of order? Come on.
It's possible they did.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah, exactly. It's like McQuarrie's like, hey, can we reshoot the part where he's nervous about jumping? And nope, sorry, no.
It's also like juxtaposed with this whole thing going on between the Indian guy and the woman, which to me is just not working at all. Like the Indian guy, he's really carrying the whole conversation, but their entire conversation doesn't make sense. Like it's already obvious
he's good and it just
some
doesn't
other
work.
shit, and it's
Right.
pretty obvious that he like really doesn't care. Like she's broken his hand like 3 times.
They keep playing Tom Cruise's thing of that he has these hunches and he just goes off his instinct and he knows what's going to happen. But I really didn't buy the hunch here. Like I felt like the guy generally wasn't interested and he walked away. And Tom Cruise comes over and it was just an excuse to make out with her, which doesn't make sense for his character. Because,
yeah, why are they making out anyways? Like that was the weirdest, most like it didn't even like they didn't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
It like activated the guy's jealousy, but did it? Like what?
No.
Also, if it was going to activate his jealousy, shouldn't Tom Cruise have stuck around? Because he kisses her and then he immediately walks away, and then the guy calls. And it's like, there you go.
Yeah,
'Cause
it was
he
a
just
stretch.
wants the threesome. The Indian guy wants the threesome. He's
Exactly. He was just into Tom Cruise all along.
Yeah, he was like.
But he couldn't admit it.
Moisture explosion.
So you got that's what you got from this scene? Because I don't even get it.
He reminds me of like a super old school Saturday Night Live version of a Bond villain.
He reminded me of who was the guy? Professor Joe Butcher from License to Kill. That's who he reminded me of.
Oh yeah, okay.
The
Wayne Newton character.
The Wayne Newton character.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I see it. It's the hair.
I think it really is the hair. I was gonna say is this like the testiest that Ethan Hunt has ever been in any of these movies? Because like he seems super stressed in this Indian party scene, and in a lot of the other scenes where he's like snapping at people, he's like yelling at Brandt to jump when it's like that's not even a thing that's like time sensitive.
In the middle of this
jump
party,
whenever.
no less, he's screaming and holding his ear, "Jump, jump, jump!" with people all around him. No one
to the extent that he freaks out this girl who's already kind of freaked out, and then she crushes the Indian guy's hand and almost blows it again.
She's so hot.
She did
yeah,
look
like
good.
also his frustration is mirrored by, to me, the audience's frustration is because all we've actually seen them do is fucking fail at this point. You know what I mean? Like they haven't succeeded in any of their fucking missions.
Let's just talk about that for a second, because here's my bit. As long as we're getting into the finale, my biggest complaint with this entire movie, more than some of the stupid stuff we've already mentioned, is how in the finale they just keep on moving the fucking goalposts. Every time they fail, they're like, we've got to take the satellite out before he gets to it. Oh, he got to the satellite. Oh, we're fucked. Oh no, wait, we can just go find him. Oh yeah, we just got to get to him before he launches the missile. Oh wait, he launched the missile. Oh, we're fucked. Oh wait, now if we can find him, we can cancel the mission or missile. It's like every time we think we know what they have to do, they fail at it, and then they're like, oh yeah, but that wasn't really all we needed to do. It's okay.
Have you
And
ever
they're like equally super disappointed every time.
Have you ever seen the movie Lady in the Water?
Yeah.
The M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Yes.
The
only person I've ever known who likes it.
I have to say, I don't think I've ever watched that to completion.
I've only seen it once in the theater, and I was greatly disappointed. I do not like that movie. I don't remember much about it, but I do remember that it's about storytelling, and it's a lot of that in that movie where, like, they think they're boned, and then they're like, oh, but I forgot to mention this part of the story where the elf people come out of the water and save the day, and they just keep writing in these, like, ex machinas, like, where something just comes and, like, saves the day at the end. I'm like, this is the worst writing I've ever seen in a movie, and I almost walked out, but the movie ended before I did.
Yeah, I'm the only person I've ever known who liked that movie.
I feel like I feel like I didn't walk out of the theater because I didn't see it in the theater, but I feel like I walked out of it every time I saw it somewhere else. I was like, all right, this is enough of that.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I tried to shoehorn this in earlier, but the score in this movie really bugs me. I feel like this composer, Michael Giacchino, is that how you say his name? I don't know.
Giacchino.
I don't know how to say his name.
Yeah, Giacchino.
But I feel like he's really hit or miss. He did the score for Up, which I think is one of the best soundtracks like in any movie ever. But then he does this, which is like constantly like dun, 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 the whole time. It's like really intense for lack of a reason. I don't know. And he did the score for the last movie too, which I thought was fine. But something about the music really bothered me in this movie.
I'm going to say one thing I liked was he's got this whole big Lawrence of Arabia kind of grandiosity to some of those.
I liked that part. I feel like that's a staple. When you see dunes in a movie, you have to play like something that sounds like Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah, exactly. And he nails that. I do think, in addition to sort of the annoying repetitive chase sequence music he uses, he doesn't use what's the the theme music he only uses a couple of times, and I can't remember where they were.
The beginning?
But he only uses it. Well, there's one with the big. The one time he uses it really well is at the end of Tom Cruise's Burj Khalifa climb, where he runs back down and then swings on the rope. It's like the big trailer moment where he swings on the rope through the window.
Oh yeah.
He uses it there.
He actually goes off the rope. He's ropeless, actually.
That's true. He swings away because the rope isn't long enough. No shit.
No, I love that part. No shit.
Yeah, that's a good line. Yeah. But he uses it there. He uses it one other place near the end. But it's really literally just the dun dun. Oh, he uses it as a counterpoint and the fake out ending where he's like mission accomplished and hits the buzzer and nothing happens. He uses the theme there. Yeah, exactly. And then it doesn't go to the payoff horn flare. And he also almost never uses. I think it's called The Plot, which is the other theme song from the original series that they use in almost every one of these movies.
Yeah, I did hear
it, though. He only uses it once.
Yeah,
it's only once early on, which is, I mean, when you have gold, like, make sure you can overuse it, sure, but make sure you scatter it pretty liberally throughout your. They have two iconic themes in these series, and I feel like when they don't use them enough and lean on them a little, it's a loss.
Totally.
As we got toward the end, he got like further and further away from that, though. Like,
yeah.
Some of the jokes were good. I like when Simon Pegg keeps saying, "But I'll catch you." I'll catch you.
Yeah. I hated that. I hated that entire
everything about
airplane
that
sequence.
Simon Pegg is funny. He's funny.
I didn't like that. I didn't like him, Tom Cruise and Paula Patton doing their pep talk. And I thought the whole thing with the I'll catch you, blah, 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 could have been like, it just felt so long. It was probably only a couple minutes long. It felt like it was like 8 hours long to me.
Oh, this is the best part of the movie on behind you right now.
Oh, yeah, this is great. I feel bad that this guy got killed. Didn't want
this
that.
fight is awesome. And these actresses did the fight themselves, and I think this fight's really cool. I think this fight, and you know what? I think the fight with the actresses here, and I think the fight with Brandt and Ethan in the hotel room where they disarm the dudes. I am a sucker for any disarming like scene in a movie. Like this is why I like the Bourne movies so much too, because they're always disarming people and like knocking knives and guns out of people's hands. It's the disarming sequence is the best part of not Mission Impossible. What is it? Lethal Weapon 4 when Jet Li takes the gun apart is like the only good part of that entire movie.
So you like it when one man's holding the gun and another man just grabs that gun out of his hand.
Here's
Just
more
yanks
running.
it.
Tom
Just
Cruise.
yanks it hard.
Tactically, though.
But look, he's gaining on him there. Tom Cruise is running and he's literally gaining on him, and then we cut away.
Yeah,
and the
like
guy's
right
farther away.
there, he should have caught him. Right there.
Yeah, seriously. Look,
Yeah.
he's farther away than he was when they went into the overpass.
Yeah, this pisses me off. I'm like, why are we
was
still
actually-
watching them run? I know he can outrun
That
him.
was
Like,
actually a really cool shot of them running under that thing, though. I mean, this
there
is
it
a
is, the
good-looking
shoulders
movie.
behind the
Oh.
ass running.
But there is also the shitty CGI of the dust.
Yeah, the
dust storm.
CGI is not good in this movie. The the sandstorm and it's like you can tell it's the same like software that they use for the Kremlin falling apart, because it's like there's no explosion. It's just like dust, cloudy, like
Yeah.
and then they use the same.
Which I mean, that's realistic in a sense, because for a while, every time a building blew up, it was just blowing up. You know what happened. You know why buildings are dust now instead of fiery explosions. 9/11, we saw actual buildings blow up, and it was mostly dust.
Yeah.
So now every time a building collapses, everyone's like, well, all we know about it is there's a ton of fucking dust. But yeah, you're right. The CGI in this on the Kremlin explosion and the dust storm do not look good.
I thought it was fun when he put his glasses back on, though.
Yeah.
That was a fun little bit.
I was wondering why he didn't throw them away in the hotel. Like, why didn't he just toss them to the side? And then they paid it off a little bit. So that was.
I do like that the guy
goggles.
pulls them out and looks at them, and he
Yeah, the
just kind of
goggles.
shrugs, like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like what?
Yeah.
I wear goggles.
Yeah.
I got a rec basketball game later, man.
Yeah, I almost wish I was about to say I almost wish the goggles were like a little more Horace Grant from the '90s, but
Yeah.
alas, it cannot be that way.
Yeah. I also love how in the sandstorm, actually, I'm going to go all the way back to when he breaks out of the Russian hospital, which is also kind of a funny sequence. I like when he gets out on the ledge and like you think it's going to be his great escape, and he looks down at the dumpster, and the Russian guy's like, "All right, go ahead, jump into that dumpster full of medical waste," and he's like, "All right, maybe I'll wait for a second."
The Russian guy's so throwaway for me too. Like, what's his actual purpose? Just like a B story of somebody's chasing Tom Cruise also?
That's like an E or F story. It is so far down the line of
Yeah.
stories.
The actor's not bad, but it doesn't
It's
add
not
anything to
useful.
the movie. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, there's no cool fight between them. There's no, like...
I guess it's that classic thing of like, oh, like, you know, Russia and America aren't the ones who are fighting at all. It's good versus evil kind of thing, you know?
They were actually just playing games with each other the whole time.
Yeah. I guess I can't explain that Russian guy. I also don't know why, like, so they kill the head of the IMF, and then the Russian guy's in charge of all those dudes who are shooting guns. So did the Russian, like, Secret Service assassinate the head of the IMF who had been invited there to accept some award? That seems like that would be like a huge international incident also.
I had that same thought. I was surprised to see that like all those machine gun guys were part of that,
right.
the Russian dudes like team.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you
it
know,
was really
whatever.
confusing as to what level that guy was at in terms of the Russian military or
Yeah.
police or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but back to my original point, when he's half naked, injured Tom Cruise running through the streets of Moscow or wherever, and he's just randomly stealing shit. Like he steals like a jacket and shoes and a cell phone, and nobody notices the random naked dude running by grabbing their shit. I don't understand it. How does that happen? And then he does the same thing in the sandstorm. He's just like grabbing shit like as he runs by. It's like, and nobody even yells like, "Hey, don't steal my shit." It's very. I would definitely be upset if some.
I do think it's important though because it introduces one of the strong things that this movie did, introducing seeing Tom Cruise wearing a hood, which is cool.
Hoodie Tom Cruise
Yeah.
is a pretty badass Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
It's on all the posters.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
exactly.
And he doesn't even
And
wear
this-
it very much in the movie.
But he wears it then and in the very
Nope,
end.
he wears it then and at the end. Hoodie Tom Cruise at the very end is like the jacket over the hoodie with the iPhone earplugs in. Like
Yeah.
it was a look. It was definitely a look at this time. And
Classic.
they made like a 50-year-old man look hip.
Yeah,
by just
classic
dressing him in a hoodie.
2011.
Yeah, exactly.
Dallas Mavs NBA champions. Sorry.
Yeah, very much the hoodie look. Who like I think Hoodie Cruz could even like contend with Hoodie Mello in a hoodie off.
Where does
He
that
might even
coolness
win.
come from? Is that from Mr. Robot?
What, that look?
I don't
Yeah.
No, it comes from people who are hip.
I don't know. It probably is from athletes though, because I think the athletes were wearing the cool hoodie, like the hoodies with like the double seams on either side of your,
Yeah.
like not just the single seam down the middle of your head hoodie. It's the double seam hoodies, like the upscale, and it just became like a sort of a fashion trend. And then to wear it under a jacket became a whole other.
But
thing.
then they started making jackets that look like you're wearing two jackets, like it's the hoodie underneath, but it's actually
the hoodie's
just
like a
one,
liner of the jacket,
which
Yeah.
is what he wears
awesome.
in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, this movie's definitely a fashion victim. I actually still think it looks cool. But it was
I
like
think it looks
totally a thing of the moment there.
Speaking as someone who has what is commonly referred to as the 5 head, I love the hoodie look because it neutralizes the extra forehead extending towards the sky and turns it into, a look.
Yeah. I'm not just covering up my giant forehead, it's a look.
What's left to talk about? What do you guys think of the very ending, the reveal that his wife is still alive, and what they're doing with that, and how this panned out for the rest of the series?
It felt really thrown in.
Yeah.
No, I needed that. I needed that. I
Yeah,
really
I
did.
mean,
I spent the entire movie asking, what about Michelle Monaghan, and being like so irritated that they might have written her out without even like having the decency to have her on screen again. And I was like, I know they've got to get rid of her because I know like James Bond can't be married, Ethan Hunt can't be married. It just, they painted themselves into a corner. They had to get rid of her. I get it, but I felt like that was such a discredit to the character and a fine actress who I'm a huge fan of. And I was upset. I needed this last little button. That's the only part I liked about it. That and seeing Ving Rhames in the cameo. Everything else about the button is annoying.
What about Bridgena? You didn't like Bridgena?
What?
Bridgena.
What?
Is that a bridge?
No, it's the bad or the rich Indian guy.
Oh, but he's not in the button. We're talking about the very end.
That
I
was,
Talking about the
understand.
very, very.
that was his name though. It was like what was it? Bridgena?
Bridgena.
Rich.
Yeah, it's Bridge. I think it's Bridgenath.
Nath.
Bridge-
Yeah.
Bridgena.
Bridgenath.
I only know that because I had the subtitles on, but he does say his name pretty fast.
And it's not spelled like bridge, like a bridge.
I think
Spelled
it's got a
with
J
J.
in there.
Yeah.
I was just thinking millionaire guy the whole time.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think she's a great actress, Michelle Monaghan, but I did.
Well, you're wrong.
I did like. I think I'm right. She's not in much anymore. I think the world caught on.
She's in tons of things. By the way, have you ever seen Trucker? She's great in Trucker.
Trucker.
She's great in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's enough. She's great
That was
in
from 10 years ago
That's
too.
plenty.
That was like around the same time as this. She probably got that job based off this
She
movie.
didn't get worse with age. She just got older.
She just telegraphs. Like even in this movie, she's like, "Oh, I'm happy because I see him across the way." You know, like just something.
Sometimes that's the
Yeah.
appropriate way to play something.
Just something cheesy about
By
her.
the way, so she just sees her husband creeping on her sometimes, and she's just like, "Cool,
Hi.
there's my husband that forced me into witness protection and who I can't even be with anymore. Nice." I would not have been smiling if I were her. I probably would have been like, I would have just like flipped him off. And like,
Yeah, the
here's,
middle
here's,
finger.
here's for you, fucker. Yeah, just like, yeah, nice, Ethan. See you later.
Well,
Thanks.
I mean, like
That's love.
in the last movie, like I don't know, like I feel like the decision that they made in the last movie to introduce her and to get them together, I don't know if it was the worst part of the last movie, but it definitely writes them into a corner because how do you go on from there unless you end the series? You know, it's like either they're gonna kill her off in the first scene, or you know they have a weird scene where he's like, "All right, I'm going to work, honey," and then you don't see her, or
This
they
is
kind of
a-
do this. I mean,
This
this
is a lot
keeps
like
her-
this.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. This is a lot like the Sylvia Trench debate in which we
The
in
old
which we
trench.
theorized if it was possible to have a relationship that you that's on again, off again, while you go do murder for the state.
This is why you can't get married. You just have to have a trench that you can come home and run around in every once in a while.
Because they always come back to the trench.
Yeah.
No, but I actually really like the way they handled it, like as a series, not just in this movie, but just in general. Because the easiest thing to do is to kill her off. They do a nice job here of like sort of segueing her out of like that we think that she's killed off, but she isn't. And then because this is a fun movie, right? This isn't going to be as emotional as the other ones. And so we find out at the end, hey, we thought his wife died, but actually she's just been, relocated. They can't be together. That's tragic. The next movie, he sort of moves on a little more. And the next movie, he moves on completely. So it's, they sort of segue him out of this relationship in a smooth way that I think really doesn't discredit the character or do a disservice to it.
Did any of you guys get confused a little bit during the scene when Brandt is explaining the story about the Croatia thing and how he had the job of like watching the wife, and then like I feel like something in there, the way it's written, is it's like a little confusing as to what he's talking about, and it took me a minute to be like, wait, he's talking about Tom Cruise's wife and she's dead?
Well, he
or-
doesn't reveal who he's talking about till the end, but
Isn't it the scene that's on right behind you right now?
yeah, it actually is.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, he doesn't. Oh, by the way, the guy who do you know the guy who puts the mask on Tom Cruise in this movie is the same guy from Mission Impossible 1 who puts the mask on him?
And it's the same mask. Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, what is the story there? Does he just take that mask from job to job? Is that like something like when he gets fired, he's like gonna be like, hey, no, this is my mask. I brought this from home. This isn't your mask. This is my mask.
So what I bring to the company if you hire me is I have this mask, and if you have anyone who needs to travel but don't want to show them where they're going or how they get there, I put this mask on their head.
You see, mouse holes and eye holes are stitched shut. This mask has holes, but they stitched shut cannot see out.
No, I will not cut my hair.
And he only has the one sharkskin suit.
Yes.
I thought it would have been cool. I thought for a second there, I mean, I've seen this movie before, but when they show that guy, it was more apparent to me this time, maybe because I've just watched the first movie kind of recently. But
well, Tom Cruise's reaction too is like,
oh, you again. Yeah,
he gives him
exactly.
that you again look, and yeah, I know the drill.
But I thought it would have been cool if they brought Max back from the first movie and he brings him to her. Wouldn't that have been a cool little callback?
I bet you anything they wanted to and just couldn't get Vanessa Redgrave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this guy's just an arms dealer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Would have been perfect.
But I was just thinking, it's also weird that this is like the lighthearted fun one, but the stakes have definitely been raised to the highest all time. Like everyone getting nuked is pretty bad.
Yeah, and once they
So
raise the bar
cheesy
there, they
when
can't.
it hits
they,
the building too, like.
Yeah, when it bounces off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the biggest complaint I have with that whole thing is that I think nuclear weapons actually detonate like a mile up to maximize the blast. So I think that would have already gone off by then. But, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to nitpick. I actually thought it was edited together pretty cool. I thought it was neat.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, that was pretty funny, too. The look at his face, like exhaustion and despair.
So the very last thing, the last shot of the movie is Tom Cruise getting a phone call that's telling him about the syndicate, which is setting up the next movie, which I thought was kind of cool because they actually followed through with that, and that's what the next movie is all about.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was just like a placeholder and they were just like, hey, let's just run with it, or if they actually had an idea of... Because I know they didn't actually have much of a story for the next movie when they started shooting it again. Because that's just how they do it.
How many years between the two?
I think the next one was like 2015 or 2016. Wait,
I feel like.
Do they drink Dos Equis in the next?
I think it was 2016 because I was working at IMAX at the time, and I watched it like 1,000 times.
But do they drink Dos Equis in the fifth one? Because they definitely drink it here, and they want you to know.
You're thinking of Fast and the Furious. Oh yeah.
No, that's Corona.
Oh, no, that's
Fast and
Corona.
Furious is Corona. Yeah. Come on, Harris.
2011, 2015, and then 2018 for Fallout.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the shortest
there
turnaround between those two. The last two. Yeah.
Yes.
It's usually like 5 or
that
6
was
years.
Actually,
it's crazy.
and it'll be a lot less between the next two because they're shooting them simultaneously.
Yeah, they're going to release them a year apart. But it's getting one of them was supposed to come out in 2021. Now it's not going to come out until 2022.
Man, they should just get on
the new ones?
They should just. It's Macquarie. After that was basically his reward for writing this one, was he got to direct Rogue Nation, and then he got to direct Fallout, and then he's continuing to direct the next ones, basically because he knows the drill now, and he can work under pressure like that. So
him and Tom Cruise they must get along really well.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Yeah, and I think like they want that infrastructure in place. I mean, JJ was supposed to direct this one, and he was either doing Super 8 or the first Star Trek.
It was Super
reboot.
8.
So he couldn't. So he produced this, but yeah.
Yeah. So what do you say we rate this thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's break out the Timothy
sure,
Dolphin
that sounds
scale.
Yeah. Who wants to? Wait? Did I go first last time, or did I go last? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Should we let our guest go first?
Maybe.
Sure. Why not?
Charlie, what'd you think of this movie? How do you rate it on a scale
I'm
from?
gonna give it
Go ahead.
6 dolphins.
6 Timothy Dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any
Six
any
dolphins.
reasoning? Do you want to elaborate, or you're just gonna?
Well, the dub like kind of ADR feel to the entire movie really bugged me, and so there's that. I think that it's lacking a lot in emotional connection and like drive to connect with the characters and care about somebody. Like like I said, my favorite person was Bridgna just because he's cool and like stupid. But I think Six Dolphins is fair. I think Six Dolphins is a really fair assessment because, like you got to think like, the it's not a 10, but a 5 is still a good movie. Like it's a medium movie.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. I was fully prepared to give it 5 points deducted if Ving Rhames did not show up.
Colin,
That was fucked up. when you
Colin, was
really
this
think
your
about
first
it.
time seeing this movie?
Yeah, it was. I thought I had seen it before, but then I realized no, I have not seen it before.
Wow.
I was just still on that Dallas Mavericks winning the championship high in 2011. I just like couldn't come down from it and go see a movie. I guess I'm not sure what was happening.
What?
Colin,
Sorry, go ahead.
Colin, you just want to run with it?
Yeah, run with it, Colin.
Oh, so yeah. Okay, basically like this movie, tries to establish the direction for the franchise. We're going to, make these fun action movies or whatever, but when you do stuff like that, you run a danger, you run into the danger zone of crossing that line into being gimmicky. And with all these like gadgets that are just it's really coming too hard with the gadgets. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just so many little gadgets and sci-fi things in every scene. And between all of those things, it does to me cross that line into being too gimmicky sometimes. And then also there's stuff that just definitely does not work in this movie. The whole scene with the woman and the Indian guy and the fucking magnetic suit, it's just it doesn't work. And I'm just asking where the fuck Ving Rhames is, and I'm looking at that guy and I'm thinking they should have got Skarsgård because he just looks like Skarsgård, but he isn't as good. And it wasn't doing it for me, and so I gave it a 6. And I'm really happy that Ving Rhames
God.
did show up.
Oh, Jesus, that's like one of your lowest scores ever.
Yeah,
You must have hated this.
it wasn't. I mean, I didn't hate it, but I didn't think it was as good as
Would you
I
rather
wanted it
get
to
your
be.
nipples waxed?
So I don't know. The thing is I usually watch them the same day. Okay. And I watched this one yesterday instead of today. And I literally last night I had a dream that I was watching MI5 and it was worse than MI4 in all the ways that MI4 was bad. So it gave me a nightmare that the next one would upset me in the same way that this one did.
Wait, have you never seen 5?
No.
Have you seen 6? Colin?
Zoom pros.
Colin can't hear me.
Oh no,
Colin.
Colin, you still there? I'm really curious now whether he's seen 6 or not.
I don't know. I don't know what you said in my Zoom froze.
Oh, I said, have you
Yes,
seen
we-
5 and 6?
Oh no, I thought I had seen up to here, but I haven't even seen up to here. So
Oh.
Wow, so
it's
this is all
good to
new.
do.
Fun.
This is all new territory for you going forward.
This
Yeah.
will be fun for you.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I don't know about the nipple wax thing, Charlie. Thank you for asking, though.
I'm just
I really appreciate.
Would you
when
rather
someone
watch it
else-
again, or would you rather get your nipples waxed?
Well,
Probably
Colin
both
actually
at the
enjoys
same
having his
time.
nipple
Yeah.
wax.
Oh, I forgot. Colin has hairless
Uh,
nipples.
No, I'm really ashamed of my nipple hair because I don't have a good like hair going on in the upper body in general, and the fact that the hair shows up on the nipples at all is sort of like a real fuck you from my body to my mind, and it's It's upsetting. And so I appreciate that you thought about my nipples, though. It means a lot to me.
It's my pleasure.
We're all thinking about it. Yeah.
Not to get weird, but it's absolutely my pleasure.
So you give it a 6 Timothy Dolphins?
Yeah. So that's a 6 dolphins for me.
Harris, do you want to go or should I go?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think Colin hit the nail on the head. It's like they didn't have a formula yet, but they knew from the first movies what worked and what didn't, and sort of what to expect. You know, it's like you need the Mission Impossible standards in every single movie are like a bunch of memorable, crazy action sequences, a bunch of exotic locations, and some iconic stunts. Especially like one just iconic stunt. And then every movie they add something like gunfights and team chemistry and emotional connections. But they all have like in this one they added humor to it, but they never really had this perfect balance of the thing. And I think this is the one where they kind of found the balance of it, and also like the tonal levity, that they didn't want to be so, morose or emotional or whatever. They wanted it to be kind of fun and have a little bit of comedy and humor mixed in with all the action, and just like the colorfulness of it. And it's part of the, like not having an auteur sort of driving it in one specific direction with like a bunch of fucking doves or something. Let them have, kind of a more generic appeal, but also sort of defined what the Mission Impossible movies would be going forward. So I really enjoyed it. We said a lot of things that were wrong about it and dumb about it and didn't work about it. But at the same time, like, I was never bored, and I loved so many of these sequences, even if they didn't make sense. I liked what I was seeing. I thought the cast was great. Even the people that, like Paula Patton, I don't even know who the fuck that is. And I thought she was not a great actress, but fine in this part. She had a good action sequence. She was very good looking. I just think like everything about this sort of worked on some level, some very superficial level for me. And that's what this movie is. It's not like great art or anything. Mission Impossible movies are some superficial entertainment. I think I enjoy them more than Bond movies because I hold them less dear than Bond. Like, they're less precious to me, Like Bond movies, there's like a legacy and a history that I really value. So they're held to a very high standard. And these just have to be fun and entertaining. And I was debating between 9 and 8 dolphins. And
Oh my God.
And I gave this one 8 Timothy Dolphins. And I, as you guys were bad mouthing it, I almost wanted to bump it up to 9 because just in retaliation. But I'm not going to, because my legit answer is this is an 8 Timothy Dolphin movie. I honestly believe that it is 8 Timothy Dolphins worth of entertainment, and that's what I'm going with.
Wow. You talk about this movie not being part of a legacy, but there's going to be 8 of these things really soon. That's Live and Let Die is the 8th James Bond movie.
I hope there's 20. I want to direct at least 3 of them myself. It's going to be awesome. Tom Cruise's grandkids are going to be starring in these movies.
8 is more than half of a baker's dozen.
That's very informative. You're like a savant.
Colin, you deserve a treat for that.
Yeah, just keep saying whatever pops into your head. Don't even think about it. All right, Matt, you're up.
All right. I agree kind of with Harris. I know this movie has a lot that we are nitpicking, but as a whole, it is a lot of fun right from the get-go when Tom Cruise is sitting in that jail cell and bouncing a CGI rock in an unrealistic way across the wall. And
I thought it was a racquetball or something.
No, it was a rock.
All the way to the end where they're driving this Matchbox car around with a heads-up display that definitely obscures everything you can see on the road.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Love that.
Yeah, no, I will say that Paula Patton saves that entire sequence.
Why? Because she's taking her clothes off in the car?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun with this movie. It's never boring, like Harris said. My big thing is, do I like this one more or less than the third one? And I think I like this one a little bit more. It's a little more in line with like what the movies ultimately become. I do like, even though I feel like there's like too much lightness and fun in this movie, I do like that they added that and that little bit of levity, you know, that they it carries forward with the rest of the movies. I just feel like this movie doesn't stick the landing for me. I don't think the whole I kind of get bored with them chasing the guy and he always gets away, and then like kind of what Harris said again, like with first we got to stop the satellite, he beat us to it, now we got to catch him, we can't catch him, he launched the missile, what are we gonna do, let's stop the missile, you know, it's just like, okay, I get it, just like stop him already, you know. And I feel like the ending, I don't like the location where they are in the end, the whole thing with her and the Indian guy doesn't work.
You don't
for
like
me.
the parking garage?
Yeah, exactly. It ends in a parking garage. It's like it's just.
I don't know. I think the parking garage is dope. But go ahead.
It's a little lackluster. I did like the action in the parking garage scene, but I don't like. I don't know, just aesthetically that it ends there. I wanted it to be grander, and then I don't like the end on at the pier or whatever they are. Like I feel like again that scene it feels a bit writerly. It's like similar to that scene in the first Mission Impossible where they all have like cheesy things to say. I don't know. And then him just walking off into the mist at the I just don't like the ending of this movie. The last
he does have that hoodie on.
Yeah, which
and he disappears into the mist like a ghost. Ghost protocol.
Oh, I get it.
Ghost protocol. You're right. Not only you know what another writerly scene is? The scene where the mission has failed and they're all fighting with each other. And it's like the group's breaking up. It's our darkest hour. You know, it's like, we must be heading into the third act. Because everyone's fighting for no reason.
I feel like
it's very artificial.
I feel like the movie's hitting me with itself, like in the head.
And here I am bad mouthing this thing that I gave 8 Timothy Dolphins to. But seriously, it really was entertaining. Sorry, Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, I too am gonna give it 8 Timothy Dolphins because I gave MI3 I think 7, and so I like this better than that. So, yeah.
Wow.
Nice
so that
job.
takes the average to a 7. That's
good. I think that's appropriate.
Yeah. So that's it.
We probably nailed
that's
it.
Ghost Protocol. Charlie.
Wow.
Thanks for doing this. Do you want to plug anything? Do you have anything going on? What's going on in your life?
Yeah, my cat has a really cool Instagram. So
shit.
Yeah, everybody should definitely follow it. Thumbs with a Z _the_ cat. He's pretty dope. He's got some extra fingers, and
is that cat with a C or cat with a K?
With a C. Thumbs with a Z _the_ cat.
Nice.
And
right.
yeah, you know, besides that, go buy some toys for videos that go buy some toys for your kids and watch all the videos that I make.
You make videos about toys?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, there's actually a really cool stop motion series that we just did, which is like a choose your own adventure for Batman for the DC toys. And nobody's watching it, so go watch it. It's
where can I find that?
You can find that on YouTube under the DC Kids channel, or you can find it on the Spin Master YouTube channel too.
Sweet, I will check it out.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. I gotta check out the moon phases before I watch that because I want to watch it on a dark night.
Oh, Colin.
Wow. Well, it wouldn't be our show
puns.
without us ending on one of Colin's really bad puns.
They just get so draining after a while.
Much like this movie, he did not stick the landing. All right, thanks for listening, and we'll be back with Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
love you.
Bump, 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 bump. We're done.